Welcome everybody to Anchors Away. I think today is episode 30. So, we're definitely getting the episodes out now a lot more consistently. And at least for me, I do like the schedule of filming on Sunday and Wednesday and uploading Monday and Thursday. So gives people something to watch on Monday right after the weekend and then get them excited for the events coming up in that next weekend. Some good things happened this past weekend though. Seattle getting I don't know, do they look legit? We'll find out. And the Kraken getting another good win at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So that's kind of what we got on tap today. A little bit shorter actually, I think this time, and we'll kind of go from there and see what happens. But this weekend for you being in Kentucky, how was it? How was the weather? I know you're wearing your Cardinals shirt today. They pick up a big win over, I think, Wake Forest, you said?
Yep, Wake Forest, yep. Number 10 in the country at that time.
Yeah.
I don't know how far they fell after that game.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But yeah, it was nice to see the hometown team do well. It didn't look like it was going to be a blowout to begin with, but then, man, the defense in the third quarter showed up, and it was on. So I think they had 2 pick sixes in that quarter and a couple of fumble recovers that led to touchdowns. It was just on. So 35 points scored by one team in one quarter.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's you don't see that every day.
So way to go, way to put it away. So it was kind of fun, and you had a fun weekend as well, huh?
Yeah, not bad at all. Getting to go to the Tennessee Volunteer Stadium, see Kentucky play. Obviously, the result was not good at all. And really there were a couple plays in the first half where had Kentucky executed, it might have been a different game. Would have been 21-21 at half compared to 28-6. So just a couple mental errors that caused Kentucky's downfall. And that's the crazy thing this year with Tennessee. If you don't play a perfect game, they capitalize and they move very quickly. But a really cool stadium, would definitely go back there. Probably it might be my favorite place to go watch a game. Okay. Just between the environment, the stadium, just everything about it is a lot of fun. Very cool to go see, and we'll see the number 1 and number 2 team in the country on Saturday play down in Georgia. So that'll be quite the game. It'll be interesting. Tennessee and Georgia next week. So very, very interesting there.
Absolutely.
But with that said, even though we'll let this be for now. So we will with that said though, very big game by Seattle, the Seahawks.
Yes.
Goodness. I don't really know what to think. Because I think that, the whole year we were, at least preseason.
Yep.
We didn't think Seattle. We thought they were going to win 5 games the whole year.
Right.
And now they're sitting at 5-3. And I never started the timer, so let me start that. So 5-3 now with Seattle, leading the NFC West, sole possession. Geno Smith has another great day.
Touchdown effort.
2 touchdowns, 200 yards. Ken Walker, not the best average today, but he came up when he needed to.
He outperformed Saquon Barkley.
Yep, that he did, and that that's the thing right there. The Seahawks just shut down Barkley. Like that was the game plan, and they made Daniel Jones beat him, and he couldn't do it.
No.
It also helped that the Seahawks had 5 sacks on the day, which is very nice. I haven't seen that in a while.
Of course, they picked up a few of those at the end.
Yeah, at the end. But I'll give them at least 3. Oh, yeah. 3 out of the 5.
They were rushing, and they were making it uncomfortable back there for them.
Yep. And, I mean, the final score was 27-13, but if Tyler Lockett doesn't have the fumble on the 2-yard line, that's not a touchdown. If he catches the first beautiful ball that Geno threw to him, that's realistically, you could be looking at a 35-6 score here. At the end of it all. So with that said, are the Giants, fake contenders, or are the Seahawks legit?
Wow. Yeah, because the Giants have been doing this year with smoke and mirrors, I want to say.
Yeah.
I mean, just listening to a lot of the different shows and watching, it's like everybody says the same thing about New York. They don't know how they kept winning.
Yeah.
And you could ask that even after today. If they had won today, I mean, you'd look at their stats of what are all their main players did, and you'd go, I don't know how they won.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that stood out on that. But then you look at the Seahawks, and it's almost the same.
Yeah, it's actually pretty similar stat
It's
wise.
pretty similar, the breakdown. So that was kind of weird. But I'm going to say Seattle is probably for real now. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
I really can't. But to your point, in preseason, and just like to a T, did I think Geno Smith was going to be this Geno Smith?
No.
Oop.
And he's been consistent. He's not up and down.
Doesn't, and he's not just managing the game. I mean, he's taking some shots,
Yeah.
and he can make all the shots. I mean, he's making those long little rainbow throws that Russell was known for.
Mm-hmm.
He's making them.
Yep.
He's not turning the ball over, obviously. Yeah, I think you asked it in a couple of shows back. Do we extend Geno now? I think you have to seriously look at it,
Yeah.
at least for a couple of years, because I don't think you're going to be in a place, even with Denver winning today, I don't think they're going to do anything.
No, because this was the last game on their schedule that was like an easier or expect them to win.
Yeah.
I mean, from here on out, it's going to be a gauntlet for that team.
Yeah, and I don't think one day, even with the amount of productivity they had today, what that was like their one touchdown or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it, but I don't think they're going to necessarily get their quarterback next year. But even if they were to pick up a quarterback, you're going to need a couple years to get them under. So I think you almost have to see what Geno would, if he'd go for a 2-3 year deal.
Yeah. I mean, because Geno's what, about 30 now? 31
I want to
maybe?
say he's like, yeah, isn't he like 32?
Okay, so still like fairly like for a quarterback.
Yeah, it's
young.
not like he's totally there, but again, maybe a 3 year deal to when he's 35 or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
make it worthwhile for him, and all of a sudden that'd be his first contract that he'd have a little, security with, and
Yeah.
he knows where he'd be for the next 3 years instead of doing these 1 year deals.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like kind of almost a good thing too, is he has kind of sat the whole time,
Yeah.
so just so much less wear and tear on his body that obviously
yeah.
Russell has had.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Russell's been beat up those
yeah.
4 years that he's been here. Oh,
whereas he just looks fresh every game. Doesn't seem like he's bothered by any like lingering injuries that
right.
we think Russell did have, or especially now we know he had something going on.
Yeah, obviously.
But wow, Seattle sole possession of the NFC West.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it. Didn't think it would happen, but it's fun to watch. It's fun to see, and it feels like the defense is caught up now to what the offense is doing.
The offense is
I feel like I think I saw the offense was the 5th ranked scoring offense in the league before today, and they at just 27 again.
Right around that 30-point threshold, which is awesome.
And if the defense is now going to start holding opposite teams to like 14 points, set up very nicely going forward.
Absolutely. It's basically what John and Pete did back in 2012.
Yeah.
Building it up. Doing again, you kind of it's the weirdest thing. Oh, you probably got the horn.
I did get the horn.
So we'll stop that quarter there.
All righty. All right. With that said, we're going to go to the second quarter. All right, ESPN Plus recently dropped their rankings for, their first power rankings for the Calder Trophy for the, NHL rookies coming in the first year playing. And can you guess who number one on that list is?
I don't know. It's got to be Powers, right?
You would be correct. Obviously not, but Matty Beniers ranked number one on ESPN Plus's power ranking for the Calder Trophy, getting another point yesterday. So 10 games played, 8 points, split 4-4. How did the Kraken get this lucky with a kid who's already only 19 years old, already playing like a frontline center, and he will be getting paid very nicely here in the future. But
Absolutely.
was it just kind of luck that they got the number 2 pick, or do you think they actually scouted and was like, okay, maybe this kid's for real? Granted, he was one of the top 2 that everyone thought.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
how just fortunate is it they have him to build around for the next, I don't know, let's see, if he plays like Ovechkin or Crosby, 20 years.
Yeah. What a luxury.
Yeah.
What a luxury Francis got. Not only last year, but Shane Wright, he's gonna become something. So you really are set up for years down the middle.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of nice, kind of in hindsight to see that happen finally. Is like, hey, we had to wait a while to get a hockey team, and now we're going to be able to build it and have some sustained success instead of just, like stealing a team like Oklahoma did, and now they're just washed up, has-been franchise down there out of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But yeah, unbelievable. I mean, that's all I can say is, timing, becoming that expansion team when we did. Hey, that worked out great. And that Matty is a guy that just seems to be totally, hockey is his thing. He enjoys it, and my God, I don't know how we got so. You're right. I don't know how we got so lucky. But then on top of that, that guy has some great mentors this year to make sure he gets that Calder Trophy, and Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand all of a sudden on the team. So, and with Yanni Gordy and it's Eberle and whatnot, he is surrounded by a cast that will help him be just that. And then Shane Wright just coming up, seeing how Matty does this year, he has a great opportunity to watch him. And might as well, I would almost say let's let him go down and let him be Rookie of the Year next year.
Yeah, I think that it kind of feels like that's their plan now with Wright being scratched for the third game in a row there. Yeah. When do they eventually just call it, though, and just say, you know what, all right, he's not playing, not getting the ice time, let's just send him down, he knows what to work on? Because it feels kind of useless just to keep him up here at this point without actually playing him.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's probably going to happen before that Calgary game.
Yeah.
If not tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's just the right thing to do. I mean, he's a young kid.
Yeah.
He's now seeing the speed of the NHL. He's seen how big those guys are. I mean, it only takes a couple of shots by Alexiak to go.
Oh, exactly.
Oh God. I mean, the hit he leveled.
Yes.
was. If I was Shane Wright, I'd be like, maybe I want to bulk up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because it's a man's game.
Yes, that it is.
It's more so than some of the other sports.
Yeah. And kind of turning that real quick though. Also, Martin Jones had probably the best game of his season so far. With Grubauer out, I mean, if Jones continues to play this way, do you think Grubauer loses his starting spot?
God,
and arguably,
he
does. And arguably, I wouldn't say he really was the starter, as they were going back and forth the whole time anyway. But he got the home, or I guess the season opener.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of interesting now with Grubauer, because when Dredger comes back after his injury, you got a three-headed monster right now.
Yeah.
Do they try to package Grubauer out?
I mean, it's possible. Especially with Joey Decord down. He's up right now, but he'll go back down once Grubauer's back.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Grubauer was a great pickup, but I don't know where he's at right now. He just didn't have a great year last year, and started out kind of a little shaky this year. Maybe he needed this time off with the injury and stuff. Maybe he had something else going on there too. But yeah, Martin Jones, solid. I mean, to take 2 out of 3 on the homestand was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And,
love to see it.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably our biggest Achilles heel was the goaltending.
Yeah.
And, it looks like, and maybe the new goalie coach is making a difference as well with these guys. So, I wouldn't throw in the net on Grubauer necessarily, but yeah, he needs to shore it up and put on the big boy pants when he gets back on the ice and show something.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair for sure. Um, yeah, no, our timer's up here, but I do want to, and we're going to tie this away from Kraken now, but since I didn't think about this till just recently, Cal Raleigh and Julio finalists for the Silver Slugger.
Yeah.
Definitely cool for them, and obviously Julio got the national recognition throughout the year.
Right.
But it's all I'm glad Cal's getting it also.
Yeah.
Leading the league in home runs with catchers at 27, and then Julio doing his thing basically all year.
Right.
Continuing to also rack up Rookie of the Year awards from these various sporting companies. So I think at this point we're just waiting for MLB to release that Julio will be Rookie of the Year.
Right. Yeah. The inevitable.
Yeah, but very cool for them. It's cool to see that the Mariners are getting the national recognition that they are finally deserving, and that the media is respecting them as a team, and be a lot of fun going into next year with basically that core coming back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
With that said, though, you got anything else you want to wrap it up with before we close the show for tonight?
Yeah, because you mentioned the Mariners, and just to kind of circle back, as we kind of look at, off season and winter meetings will be coming up, so we'll have stuff to talk about eventually. But was real interesting to see about Winker, the all of a sudden the knowledge that he's had a couple surgeries here for a couple injuries he's been fighting all year long, and the neck injury is probably the one that probably is the biggest one that was kind of telling, because he didn't look comfortable out there. Let's admit it. He looked real stiff. And if he was fighting pain the whole time, then I'm willing to give him that
another chance for next
another
year.
chance to come out, because he is a hitter, and
Yes.
he's proven that in the National League. So this was a total off year, but maybe he was injured and he knew it was part of the deal, and he didn't want to say he was injured, and he was trying to prove himself, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And and I think with being left off the at the end of the season, the playoffs and everything.
Yeah.
But with the knowledge and what Dipoto mentioned about him being injured and having to have these surgeries, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are worst enemies by not saying what's going on. And,
exactly.
And so, you know what? I think, in that light, okay, maybe he can come back next year. So outfield may not be as bad of a thing, but we're definitely probably looking at a middle infielder somewhere.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to pull this trigger on again. Would not go for Judge at this point. I think we have too many gaps to try to catch up with the Astros.
Yeah.
So I would rather take whatever he's going to get on an average annual salary, and we could probably pick up 2 or 3 quality players.
Yeah.
Fill in some spots. So
definitely for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, to that point, it's just like, I'll give Winker another shot. He's obviously under contract for I believe the next couple years, if not for sure next year.
Right.
But still needs somebody to play defense. But if he can start hitting like he did a couple years ago at this point now, we'll definitely take that, and it'll definitely shore up that lineup with just even more if he's back to that 290 hitter that he was with Cincinnati. So
yeah, I'm thinking Cal's got a really pretty good shot at that Silver Slugger award.
Yeah, I mean, I think more realistic than Julio. I think Julio hit very well, and he deserves like the recognition to be nominated. He just wasn't the. I don't know if he really deserves like the trophy. I think Cal does though.
Yeah, Cal does. So because it's a by position type thing. Judge is getting it.
Yep.
Who else from the American League out in that outfield would get it?
Well, I think Byron Buxton. He had a really good year. Mike Trout's always a favorite. I don't know what he did this year, but he's always in contention.
Yeah.
George Springer's usually in contention.
There we go.
Trying to just kind of think.
I was just trying to think.
Who played center for Houston this year? I mean, Jordan Alvarez will probably get one.
Yeah. So there you go. It's pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just the number 28. He was a rookie. So nothing to take away from him. because
he had
he'll
a
have
great
a full
year.
season next year to
Yeah. He'll have
Wow.
plenty of opportunities to win a Silver Slugger in his future. But at least if he can get Rookie of the Year, which he should,
He should.
that's at least a great start. Rookie of the Year, playoffs, ending a 21-year drought. Nothing to complain about if you're Julio in the Mariners.
Yeah.
But
So it's looking pretty good.
it's looking very good for the future of that team.
Yeah.
With that said there, buddy, that's going to wrap up tonight's episode or today's episode, whenever you're watching this. We will see you all on Thursday. Go ahead, subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you all for watching. This has been another episode of Anchors Away.
Have a good one.